Harry is suing the UK's government for denying special security in case he brings his family to London. But nobody has realized this is plain manipulation to turn the public opinion against the Queen and the royal family. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. Now, I'm going to be direct and raw right from the start. Harry is using a classic narcissistic manipulation tactic on his own grandmother, Her Majesty the Queen, to once again smear the image of the royal family and turn the public opinion against them. This tactic is called a double bind, which means that no matter how the Queen and the royal family react, no matter what is their decision about this, they're going to end up being the villains of this story. It's necessary to get that straight from the beginning so you can see for yourself how every piece of this evil puzzle fits. And the first stage is establishing how the public opinion is perceiving the situation. This headline is a very good example. Prince Harry files claim against Home Office decision not to let him pay for own police protection in the UK. You know that most people just don't read past the headline. So right off the bat, the first impression most people will get is that the UK's government is not letting Harry pay for his own security out of his pocket. But it is important to be clear about the kind of security Harry is demanding. But before we get into that, we have to remember that a narcissist is going to play with emotions in order to manipulate people as much as they can. And narcissists are going to use small arguments in a way that you cannot reject those arguments separately. So at the end, it seems that their claims or actions make sense when they actually don't. In this case, the first argument is Harry playing the family security card. He's demanding something that absolutely nobody can disagree on. I want security for my family. Everyone wants security for their family. So the public opinion has two ingredients by now. Harry wants security for his wife and children, and he wants to pay for it. Sounds reasonable and responsible, right? But the problem is that he's demanding security from the public police, including the Metropolitan Police and the MI5 or National Security, under the claim that those are the services that can give the proper intelligence to his own private security, something that he can somehow secure in the US. Now, the first question that comes to mind is, how can you hire the police if the police are public servants? Is that even possible? Well, yes, in some way. In fact, you can check on the Met Police website the times when they have collaborated with both public and private organizations in exchange for a fee. But let's see if you can spot the common denominator between all these approved contracts. Public Transport of London, Westfield Shopping Town Limited, a shopping mall constructor, Arsenal Football Club, London Stadium, Asda Stores Limited, a supermarket and superstore chain. Yeah, you guessed right. These are companies and organizations whose activities involve large groups of people, sometimes tens of thousands of attendants. So it's not like you're an Arab sheikh in London and you can afford to pay the police and they just show up. It doesn't work like that. Because both the Met Police and the MI5 have to make a risk assessment of the proposed contract through the Royal and VIP Executive Committee. The Queen has no say in that, and only if it involves a large group of people that could pose a security risk for the community, then they proceed. In some ways, you're not hiring the police because it's not a payment per se. It's more like these private companies are covering the cost of mobilizing the public force, which in the end is going to protect all attendance at those events or places. Of course, Harry's lawyers know this. They are not stupid. They knew that this kind of request of protecting just one family was going to be rejected. Because let's be clear, I think Harry is overestimating the amount of attention they're gonna get. Hey, here's Harry and Meghan in London. See? Nobody cares. Princess Anne, Prince Edward, and Sophie of Wessex are working royals and they have protection only on official duties and engagements. Zara Tindall, Beatrice, and Eugenie do not have state-funded security at all. So Harry had to find a way to make the public opinion actually care about his visit. And that's why he pulled another narcissistic string using the Diana card. He claims that on his July visit to unveil the statue of Diana, he was chased on his car by paparazzis. Well, allegedly, these are the photos of his ride, and as you can see, there is no apparent chase. There's nobody around. Not even a guy interested in washing his windshield. And my question is, where are the photos taken by the supposed paparazzis? It's strange. But it's obvious that he's saying, I was chased by paparazzi so everyone could make the connection to his mother's accident, pulling an emotional string. In this case implying that it could happen to his family, including his children. This is something that just flashes in our heads. That's how manipulation works. Because the manipulator makes you consider the possibility that something very bad could happen. In this case, happen to small children. Again, another argument that you cannot disagree on. And you might say, well, if that's so, then just stay in the US. Don't bother coming to the UK. But then there's the ace on his sleeve. The reason Harry and Meghan want to come to the UK is that they want to introduce Her Majesty the Queen to Lilibet. Oh, how sweet. How could anyone be against a 95-year-old meeting her great-granddaughter named after her? Who could be so heartless to put obstacles between them? You see, nobody could disagree on that. So Harry wants to fulfill the wish of his grandmother to meet Lilibet, but he wants state security because he felt threatened just like his late mother, and he's more than willing to pay for it. That is what the public opinion is perceiving about this issue. So if there is any obstacle to make this happen, who do you think will be seen as the bad guys? Exactly, the royal family, and especially the Queen. Because she's the Queen, right? She should be able to snap and summon state security just like that. But you already know how security assessment works for the Met Police and the MI5, and you already know the level of security of current working royals. But no one will be able to stop the public opinion's speculations. If the Queen doesn't do anything about this, maybe it's because she does not care about Lilibet after all, or she doesn't care about their security, or she doesn't care about them having an accident just like Diana. This is a double bind. The narcissist puts you in a situation in which no matter what you decide, you lose. Since most probably the royal family is not going to break the rules for Harry and his persecutory delusions, then they're going to be seen once again as evil people. As I said, Harry is not stupid. His lawyers are not stupid. So they did this on purpose, to precipitate this public perception of his own family, just to spoil the year that the Queen is going to celebrate her 70 years on the throne. And just to be clear, I'm tired of the arguments that claim that this is not Harry doing this, that in fact it's Meghan the one pulling the strings. I don't agree. Harry must be held directly responsible for this despicable manipulation tactics. It's enough of picturing him as the victim or being controlled by Meghan. So it's important to realize that Harry is not only responsible for this, but also he did it for the sole purpose of smearing the royal family, because he doesn't get absolutely anything from this. There are claims that he's more and more angry as time goes by. It will be no surprise, because those Netflix and Spotify deadlines are way past due. Right, Harry? And you know how narcissists react in these situations. For these individuals, it's so much easier to smear someone else than assume their own responsibility and build something themselves. All in the name of getting attention. If you want to refine your observation skills, all you have to do is download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, and it will always be a pleasure, my body language buddies. Much love and bliss.